Hello everyone, this is Robin Carter with Robin's Creations, and I'm here today to share one of our first cards from our bird class that we will be doing on Monday for those that are local that are going to be able to make it to the class. So this first card I want to share is probably the more detailed one, and it's using the Birds and Branches stamp set and the Coordinating Birds and More dies. So let me show you what it is. So we're going to be creating this card. Wow, there's lots of, let me turn off this light and see if it helps. Lots of glare. Sorry, got my hand there. So the inspiration for this card comes from Inky Fingers. I saw it on Pinterest, and so I really liked the way the birds looked and the branches and the detail with the embossing. So let me get started. So all your class materials will be in this envelope, and I've done a few things ahead of time to speed up the video, but I'm going to show you what I did. So using my Stamparatus, let me get it out. I have all the stamps set up for you. And if you're watching this video and not able to come to the class, then what I did, I'll show you. So your piece of paper here will be a little wider than the actual cut piece, and that's because I can't put the stamp all the way to the end. It would hit the hinge and it would hang off here. So this one's going to be a little off that I trimmed, and so what you're going to do is ink up the branches with not early espresso, your soft suede ink. If you don't have the ink, you are welcome to borrow mine. And then you're going to ink up just the branches. The nest and the feet are here too, which we will use later. And so then you're going to stamp down. I think I moved the branches after I did mine, but not a problem. Alright, and then after you stamp your branches, then you're going to emboss it with the bark embossing folder. It's a 3D embossing folder, which means it gives this really deep impression. Let me turn this light down just a hair and see if no, that's too dark. Okay, so there you have it. And when you run this through, you want to run it through your die cut and emboss machine with the hinge first, and make sure it's all lined up and nothing hangs off so you don't damage the folder. And there is a little line here if you want to line up your paper so that the bark is kind of even. Then that's a guide to help you. Alright, so once you've done that, it's time to do all of the other stamping. Now the other day I shared my video of how to line up your die cuts so that you get an equal border around them when you're die cutting them. And so I've already done these leaves. I said I'd be using them on this card. So look back on my channel for how to evenly die cut out your dies. But I'll be using these leaves for the bird. So now let's create the nest, since that's right here on this plate. So I'm going to turn my Stamparatus this way just for ease. So I already have, excuse me, a template set up. I actually have two. I couldn't find one, so I made another one. I'm going to use the white one for this video just because it's a different color than what we will be using. And in your envelope you'll have a blank nest die cut. So make sure this white piece is all the way in the corner. And put the magnet down. Because these branches are here, this is probably the best place to put the magnet, is right above the nest. Okay, so that fits snugly in there. Now I'm wondering how early espresso will look. So I'm going to try this one in early espresso just to see if I like it better, or if I did that one in espresso. I made that card a while back and I can't remember if I used coordinating soft suede or early espresso. So we're gonna, and that is upside down. So check which way you have it going first. It's good these things happen on the video because they happen in class too. Makes me remind you to turn your nest this way. Re-ink it just to, alright, and then you're going to press. And you can see that I put the magnet here because otherwise the branches would get in the way of the magnet. Oops, squishing my card. Let me just let it sit there a second to let the cardstock absorb the ink. And the good thing with this Stamparatus is if it did not, then we could just set it down again, which that one did not. So I'm going to move the magnet just a little bit and apply a little more pressure. Okay, and if you're unable to come to this class and you'd be interested in making these cards, I do sell all the supplies. I cannot provide the stamping for you, so you would have to have the stamp set, but I could pre-die cut everything if you needed, although that would make it very difficult to stamp. But again, you can purchase the written PDF tutorial that I have here, and you would receive it through email. Alright, let's see how it did. It's good and stuck. Alright, one more place. Did not come off. Ink transfer is much easier to the basic white paper, and I know in my previous video I kept calling it Whisper White. So it has been Whisper White for as long as I've been a demonstrator until this past year when they had to change manufacturers. Okay, so that's with the early espresso. It's a little darker than that. We'll see how it does when it dries. So either one. I must have used soft suede on this one. I think I do prefer that. So you know what? I think I have more nests. So let's do it in the soft suede and see. Okay, that fits in there. Good. Let me just, I probably do not need to clean it, but I'm just in the habit of cleaning the stamps after I change colors, even though this is a brown. So now we're going to do soft suede. And I may need to re-ink my spots. They do get dry. And to help you get even pressure, you can take a stamp set and set it under here. I do have the bird dies on the other side, which we'll be using in a minute. Okay. I think I did this twice, so we'll just keep pressing, rub. Alright, and it's stuck, but not a problem. Okay, we're gonna, looks like I'm getting low on ink. I'll probably re-ink this before class in case you don't have this color. A lot of you that have been doing my paper pumpkin classes with me for a couple of years, you should have this color. I know some of you are more recent than others. Okay, let's close and try again. It's just having a hard time, isn't it? So it shows you what can happen. Just be patient with it. Okay, looks better. Okay, it's a little not inked right there. So let's just do it again. Just take a little bit more time to make it more look better. And if this doesn't work, I'll get out my big pads, and so I won't have to. You won't have to wait for me to refill that. It did. So let me get out my big pad. And of course, here it is. I already have it out. So I will re-ink that spot for the class. Now this is going to be a little more tricky. I may have to wipe off the branches since this is such a big pad. It's nice and juicy. Alright, so let me, and rather than take my cleaner, I'm going to first dab off some ink on a scrap sheet of paper. That keeps you from having to clean your chamois quite as much. Okay, let's try that. That looked nice and juicy. And I'll put this aside to know. Another thing I do sometimes is I pick up some extra ink from my pad here to re-ink it. Alright, so we're going to call this quits and move on after this one. Oh, well, I didn't have it in there, did I? Josh should have screamed at me if we were live. I would have been saying, move it over. Okay, well, again, it's a bird's nest. Not perfect, but it is nature, right? I mean, no bird's nest is perfect. They don't worry. They just want it to serve its purpose. Do what I said. Get some of the ink off before I get my chamois onto it. Okay, I'm just going to clean those branches in case I didn't get it good. Okay, so you'll have your nest. And you know what? I will have my, it's doing better. I will have my markers, the Stampin' Right markers out. So there's just a spot or so you want to make more solid, you can do that. Now, I know the one that my Inky Fingers did, she went in and put some great detail in with this nest. But for class purposes and everyone sharing this set, we're going to have to do minimum. So that helped using the marker. So I will remember to bring that out for class. And it looks like I still have ink all around the plate. Okay, so there's our nest. And the next thing we need to do is do the eggs. Now, again, I have a template here for you. Some of you may already have cut eggs, and if you don't, you'll use the egg die cut, and it cuts 3 at once. So just so you know which way they go, I'm not sure if they're equal size, put a little piece of washi on them after you cut them so that they're in the order that you'll use them. And so the eggs are on a different plate. They're here on this plate alone, and you just kind of have to work and look and see which way they are. Some I did on this plate this way. So again, after you die cut your eggs, you will place them in, make sure this is in the corner. And you know what, this little eggy, this last one, I didn't cut it well. I got it off the edge of the cardstock, so but you get the idea. So then you're going to stamp that in Misty Moonlight. And again, a lot of you used to have this spot. If you get your paper pumpkin that's coming for March before the class, which is only Monday, this spot will be in there too if you don't have it. Otherwise, you can borrow mine. And this is a in color that will be retiring in April or May. So you want to be sure and get your refill for that. I think it is back in stock. I know we tried to order it with the last order and it was out of stock. Okay, so I'm just going to set these aside in case somebody needs extra. I'm going to tape them back together. So there's a little tip to help you keep them in order. It may not matter. You just need little eggs. Where's my envelope? I think I already have mine cut. Or stamped. Yes, I do. Okay. So I'm going to set this aside so I don't lose it. Then you want to take this flower stamp. I think I just have it on a block. Stamp it on some remaining white cardstock that you have. And then you want to fussy cut. And you just need the little clusters, okay, because they're going to fit on the edge of your branch. So fussy cut those out. So now we have our eggs, our leaves, and so I think it's now time to do the birds. So the birds are a 2-step stamping. So let me just get rid of the egg plate. Okay, on the one with the branches, I have the detailed birds. Probably can't see that very well. Okay, they have little cutouts. And then on a different plate, I have the solid image of the birds. Okay, it's just a bird stamp. So what you want to do is get the bird template that I have. Okay, this is this bird. So I've already done the stamping in the center. I hope this is the right one. It's been a while since I made this. Okay, so you want to stamp the solid piece in crumb cake. Now, I don't think, do I have a spot? I haven't made a spot of crumb cake. Excuse me, of crumb cake. I might have went off video. That's Sahara Sand. Hold on. Okay, so we're going to stamp the full image of the bird in crumb cake. And that one's the wrong way. This bird, nope, it's right. So let's stamp the solid image in crumb cake. And I think that's on purpose. It gives it some variation in color, that little spot that you don't see absorbing the color. Okay, that's very dark. You know, maybe I did it in Sahara Sand. It's a good thing that I do these videos. It helps check my directions. Especially since I make these way ahead of time. So we have to switch plates because this is the other bird. Okay, and then turn him this way. So we will try this in Sahara Sand. Whoops, put the bird in there. Okay. Yep, that looks closer. So I will redo him. Oh, look, I have another one over here. So let's do him while we're doing birds. Again, if you like that darker brown, you are welcome to do the birds in any color you would like. Get my little chamois, clear him off, close up my crumb cake. Alright, so we're going to do that bird right. It's over here. To take these plates off, you lift it straight up and then pull, okay? And same thing when you go to put it in. So here's the template. And Sahara Sand. Okay. So that's the solid image of the bird. So I've already done the work of aligning these for you. So now we need the detail, which is on this plate. I actually could have left him in here. Put him back. And then we're going to get our Misty Moonlight. That sticks to those. And stamp right over the top. Again, I've already lined these up for you. There's our bird. I like him. Okay, so now, let's see, where did I lose? Here's my other template. Actually, go ahead and clean off the bird each time you do it. Alright, so to turn. solid bird. Put him in the already cut out frame. And Misty Moonlight again. And so one thing I do with my spots is I put a square of the coordinating cardstock on the bottom because I store mine upside down so that the ink will be on top like our full size pads. Okay. Okay, there's your bird with the blue. Again, clean it off each time you use it so it'll be ready for the next person. Now, let me give you a hint on the legs. You see this little bitty stamp? It is the legs. And I actually did have a template for it, but since it's so teeny tiny and very detailed, I already pre-cut some legs for you, and this is my kit. Y'all know that I have of extra parts in case people mess up. I already have some bird legs. Okay, so let's get started putting everything together. So you'll have a crumb cake card base that I believe you just need to score and then fold, and then check to see if there's one edge just a hair bigger than the other one. And if there is, you'll want that to be your top. Okay, and this is a horizontal card. All right, so here's what I do is I get all my pieces and I just kind of lay it out to how I want it. Don't remember now which nest I liked better. Maybe this one. And I'm going to fill him in with some more those solid lines. Another tip is I think I probably need to go over the stamp with an eraser so it'll collect some ink. Okay, so I know I need to adhere my eggs to the nest, and then I'm going to have Mama Bird there. Although I do not like the blue eye, so I have a black Stampin' Right marker that you may want to use. Let's try the fine tip. And okay, I've been a demonstrator for 15 years and just realized that this little line is the skinny side and this little side is the brush side. And the same thing works on the blends. There's a thin line for the bullet point and a thicker line for the brush point. You learn something new every day. So I'm just going to color his eye black. This is so fun. I may have to go in and just touch it with some black. Let's do the same thing here. Okay, so just very gently touch the ink there. Let's see the birds. So let's attach the eggs to the nest. And so what I'm going to do there is I have my Tombow multi-purpose glue that's usually in this bottle. I just put it in a fine tip glue bottle. And I'm going to put a little on the bottom. Oh, excuse me. You want to put it on the front because you're going to attach this to the nest. Okay. Well, I have gluey fingers now because I did it the wrong way. Front and front. And then you can put them however you like them. If you like them overlapping, that's fine. If you like them spaced apart, that's fine too. They could be turned. That one needs to stick. Move them over a little. Okay, so there's our birds in the nest. And this I did put on dimensionals, but let's work on our bird over here with the feet. So I want my feet to going over the branch like that. So just use a tiny dot of multi-purpose glue and going to attach him here. So he will go no fingers like that, and you can have his legs sitting higher or lower, however you like him. I just like little legs, so you're going to glue the birdie there with his legs sitting on the branch. Okay. Okay, then it's time to assemble the rest of everything. I think I'm going to go ahead and do my leaf. Again, this with regular adhesive. And then this leaf is the one that I messed up, and the reason it was off is because I bent the stem. But it's not going to matter here on my bird card because it's going to be hidden by the nest. So I think I don't want to cover the bird up. I'm going to do it about like that. And I want to leave room for my flowers. If I have to cut the stem, I can. Let's see how that's looking. That's still looking good. Okay, and then we have our flowers, which I pre-die cut. And normally you would just two-step stamp these, line up these, but since that's embossed, I really didn't want the flowers to be embossed. You know what, I may cut out that notch a little bit further. Okay. And hear that, and it doesn't matter if it overlaps the leaf a little bit. And in this card, you can see it overlapped more. I just raised the leaf up this time. And then these flowers go over here. Now, and you can pick your color. In this card, I did Petal Pink. In this card, I did Blushing Bride because I know several of you have Blushing Bride ink spots from Paper Pumpkin Kits. Okay, so now it's time to do our nest, and our nest we want to put on with dimensionals. As y'all know, I cut mine in half. I feel half is plenty, and I just put on a couple more halves in different places. Okay, so I think 3 would be sufficient, which is really 1.5 whole dimensionals. Okay, and then line it up how you want it. I'm going to come a little bit over because my bird is going to hang off. I may go ahead and trim that stem so I'm not worried about it showing. Okay, something like that is good. And then I guess this is the mama bird. Is going to go, no, she's going to go in front of this egg a little bit. Now the only thing you need to worry with is that she doesn't hang off. Mine did, and I had to trim off her feather. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere this to the card base so that I know where I can put the mama bird. Again, I do like especially the Tombow multi-purpose glue on a embossed piece because it gets in. One, if you're using tape runner, you might kind of squish the embossing. Okay, and then, but with, I still have a sticky finger now because of the glue. With the Tombow, you want to just kind of rub gently to smooth the glue around so you don't have like a wet spot on your card. Okay, so let's see where I can put Mama Bird. She may have to cover up most of that egg, which is fine. If I put her up a little bit, we can see it more. Okay, so for Mama Bird, since she's sitting, okay, I put her in the nest, but above the thing. I did go ahead and put a dimensional on her belly. No, excuse me, on the top part, like her. Yep, and then I tucked her right in the nest. Like that. Okay, she's sitting up a little more, but that's okay because I didn't want to have to cut off her tail. And if you want to, just to make sure she stays, you can put, oops, sorry if I got my head in there. Whoops, just a little adhesive. I did a lot because I was looking to see if my head was in the camera. You just get a little paper towel, dab that up. Okay, so there's our bird. I'm not going to add a sentiment right now, but you can use any label. This one is from the not quite curvy, that was retired last year, the Quiet Meadow die set. But again, any punches, any dies with a label would work, and I think that's where the greeting came from, the just retired celebration stamp. That was a great gift with a $100 purchase. And then in your box, your kit box, you will have some opal rounds, and I just love these. I love how they catch the light. They have a little glitter or something inside of them, and so you'll put those on your card to embellish it. And I stamped the leaf from the Forever Ferns on the envelope to give it some detail. So that is our bird card, one of the bird cards, using the birds and branches. So I hope you enjoyed this card. I really like the realistic look of these birds. And I'll be back tomorrow, hopefully, with 1 or 2 more cards for the class. So thank you for watching. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe. I go ahead and go over these cards for my class participants so they have an idea of what they'll be doing in the class. And if you have these sets at home and cannot make the class and don't live close, then you can make these as well. I do also offer the PDF for a small purchase, if small dollar amount, excuse me. If you make any purchase using me as your demonstrator, Robin Carter in Flower Mound, Texas, then you can receive the PDF for free. And thank you if you are subscribed to my channel and watch till the end. I really appreciate your subscription. So until the next time, have a great day.